All right, let's talk about the SAT. Today, we're diving into How to Conquer the SAT, Your Ultimate Game Plan, an explainer by Suresh. Ready to get started? Let's do it. So, right off the bat, let's get one thing straight. The SAT isn't really a test of how smart you are. Nope, it's a test of strategy. Think of it like a game. It's got its own rules, its own tricks, its own traps. And the great news? You can learn to beat the game. It's all about having the right tactics.
So, what's the plan? Here's our roadmap. We're going to break this down into 5 key areas. We'll start with how to review your practice tests, then jump into time management, the art of guessing, how to stay focused, and wrap it all up with your test day game plan. All right, Section 1, reviewing practice tests effectively. Now, a lot of people think more is better. Just doing practice test after practice test. But honestly, the real secret sauce isn't in how many tests you take, it's in how well you review them. And this quote from Prep Scholar, wow, it just hits the nail on the head. If you don't understand exactly why you missed that question, you will make that mistake over and over again. Seriously, let that sink in. If you just look at the right answer and move on, you're pretty much guaranteeing you'll make that same mistake again. So you need a system, right? Here's a super effective 3-step process. Step 1, retry the question. Before you even think about looking at the answer, struggle with it. Seriously, spend up to 10 minutes on it. Let your brain wrestle with the problem. That's how it learns. Step 2, figure out what went wrong. What was the root cause? Was it just a silly mistake, a concept you didn't know, or did you just fall for a trap? Get specific. And finally, step 3, log your mistakes. Keep a journal, a mistake journal. Write down what you missed and why. This becomes your personal roadmap to a higher score. Okay, let's move on to Section 2, time management. The clock. It can feel like your biggest enemy on test day, right? Ticking away, adding pressure. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be. We're going to reframe it. Time isn't a source of stress, it's a resource you can manage. First things first, you gotta know the lay of the land. So here's the breakdown for the digital SAT. You've got reading and writing split into 2 modules. For each one, you get 27 questions and 32 minutes. Then there's math, also 2 modules. That's 22 questions in 35 minutes each. So what does that mean? Well, it breaks down to a little over a minute per question for reading and writing, and about a minute and a half for math. Just knowing that pacing in your head is a huge advantage. Okay, so how do you actually save time? Let's talk pro tips. The number 1 rule, and I mean number 1, is don't get stuck. If a question is taking you more than a minute, just mark it and move on. Seriously, every question is worth the same amount of points. Don't die on a hill for one hard question when there are easier ones waiting. Also, use the tools they give you. The option eliminator in the Blue Book app is your best friend. Use it to cross out answers you know are wrong. And even though it's a digital test, use that scratch paper. Underlining key phrases helps you focus like you wouldn't believe. All right, Section 3, the art of guessing. Let's be honest, you're probably not going to know every single answer, and that's okay. But guessing on the SAT isn't about closing your eyes and picking one. No, it's a skill. It's about eliminating bad choices and making a smart, calculated guess. Now, here is the golden rule, especially for the reading section. You have to burn this into your brain. 1% wrong equals 100% wrong. What does that mean? It means if even a single word in an answer choice makes it incorrect or unsupported by the text, the whole thing is wrong. The test makers have to make wrong answers definitively wrong. Your job is to be a detective and find that one flaw. Be ruthless. And speaking of flaws, the SAT loves to set traps. Let me show you 2 of their favorites. First, there's the too specific answer. It'll pick out a true detail from the passage, but it totally misses the main point. It's a tempting trap. Then you have the opposite, the too broad answer. It's a statement that's generally true, but it goes way beyond the scope of what the passage is actually talking about. Once you learn to spot these, you'll start eliminating choices like a pro. But what happens if you're totally, completely stumped? You've looked at the choices and you have no clue. What do? Well, don't start making pretty patterns on your answer sheet. The statistics are clear on this. You're better off picking one letter, just one, A, B, C, or D, and using that every single time you have to guess blindly. Just pick a letter of the day and stick with it. It improves your odds.
Okay, Section 4. We've talked a lot about tactics and strategy. But you know what? None of that means a thing if your mind isn't in the right place on test day. Let's talk about staying focused and cutting down that test anxiety. This is the mental game, and it's huge. This quote here really puts things into perspective. Of all SAT sections, I find that reading has the most volatile score. No matter what happens, you need to keep calm and keep working. This is so, so true. Some days, a passage just won't make sense. You'll feel lost. That's normal. The key is not to let it derail you. If you hit a tough spot, just take a deep breath, acknowledge it, and move on. Your ability to bounce back is just as important as your reading comprehension. So what do you do in that moment when you feel the panic start to rise? You can use these simple physical techniques to ground yourself. And these are straight from the College Board, so you know they're legit. Try Benson breathing. In through your nose, out through your mouth, repeating a calm word in your head. Or tense up your shoulders for 5 seconds and then just let them drop. Another great one is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Just name 5 things you can see, 4 you can feel. It pulls your brain out of that anxiety spiral. And I really want you to hear this. Your score is not a measure of you. It's not about how smart you are or what you're worth. It's a reflection of how hard and, more importantly, how smartly you prepare. You are doing the work right now. You can absolutely do this. Believe in your preparation. All right, we are on the home stretch. Section 5, your test day game plan. This is all about the final, practical steps to make sure test day itself is smooth, calm, and confident. This is your night before checklist. And please, please, please do not wait until the morning of the test to do this stuff. Charge your device all the way. Log into the Blue Book app and do the exam setup. You have to do this to get your admission ticket. Then either print that ticket or email it to yourself. Get your photo ID and put it with your ticket. And then go to sleep. Seriously. No last-minute cramming. Your brain needs rest more than it needs one more math formula. Okay, it's game day. What do you need to remember? First, get to the test center early. Don't start your day with a panicked rush. Remember, you can bring an external mouse or keyboard if you're using a tablet, which can be a lifesaver. The big rule, your phone must be completely off and put away. You can't even look at it during breaks, so don't even be tempted. And one last tip for the math section, yes, there's a calculator built in, and it's great. But don't lean on it for everything. Sharpening your mental math can actually be way faster for a lot of problems. So I want to leave you with this one final question to think about. The SAT tests what you know. But is it more of a test of how you think? We've talked about strategy, mindset, and managing pressure. Mastering this test is about so much more than just knowing stuff. It's about learning how to approach a challenge with a smart, strategic plan. And that is your ultimate game plan. This has been The Explainer, based on the work of Suresh. Thanks for joining me and happy prepping. You've got this.